What is up, guys? My name is Nick and welcome back to another Black Ops 6 video. Today we're going to be talking about settings, alright? And not just settings for accuracy, we're also going to be talking about settings for movement and settings for visibility, how to stay alive longer, and how to spot your enemies easier. So we're going to go into all of that today. Now guys, quickly before we move on with this video, if you could drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel with those notifications turned on, and let me know down in the comments below if you guys play on a default controller or a controller with back paddles. I would truly appreciate that. And as always, guys, if you want easier lobbies, the best lobbies alive, easy gameplay, drop in nukes and all that kind of stuff, make sure to check out No Lag VPN. You guys can use my code It's Nick and save yourself a bunch of money. There's a link down in the description. Go ahead and do it. And we're just going to go ahead and start off with the first setting that I want to split this video into. And the first one is going to be visibility, spotting enemies easier, and all that kind of stuff. All right, so that's going to be the first one I'm talking about. After that, we're going to go into some movement settings and then some aiming settings, so you guys could have insane accuracy as well. So first off, here we are in a game, and the first one that I want to talk about is actually going to be pretty simple. It's actually pretty basic, and that is going to be in your settings. You're going to want to go over to graphics, and you're going to want to go over to view, and we're going to look at the field of view. Okay, guys, we want visibility in this game to be nice and easy. If you put this all the way up, I want to show you an example here. Look how small this entry looks. All right, but that's not it. We're going to go really far out here, and we're going to point at this right here. This vase, or vase, or whatever you want to call it, looks like it's really, really far on my screen. If I was to try and aim at it with just that little dot in the center, it would be pretty hard to do if I was running around, even though I'm fairly close to it. But if I go back into the settings here, and I go all the way back to the graphics settings, and put my field of view down lower, which I like to play anywhere from a 100 to 105, you could already see it's so much bigger on my screen. It's so much easier to actually go ahead and aim at, and this is why I'm going to recommend that when you're playing this game, play on a lower field of view. You do not want to play on the highest field of view possible, because it's going to make everything seem so far. Now, as you can see, everything comes closer to my screen when I aim down sights, and that's from one setting as well, and that's not going to be in the graphics set. Actually, I think it is. It is going to be in the graphics settings, and that's going to be independent for your ADS field of view. If you set it to affected, you're going to see that when you aim down sights, it doesn't really bring it in much. It brings it in very little bit, right? Like, there's not much of a difference. It's still small, and it's pretty hard to hit. So if you go really, really far out and you try to hit that, let's say that's an enemy there, it's not going to bring it in much. That's really hard to stay on target, because any little movement you do on your joystick, you're way off of it, all right? So what I'm going to recommend again here is to go back to that and play on independent. Independent is going to bring it in nice and close to your screen, so if that was an enemy there, you would be easily able to hit it to stay on target, even if you're moving. I'm doing the exact same movements as before, but it's not bouncing all over the place like it was. Now it's just staying kind of in the same spot, so that's why I always recommend independent. It's one of the best ones in my opinion. After that, weapon field of view, it doesn't really matter, but there is a little bit of a difference for this. If you set it to wide, here, I'll show you guys an example. Let's make ourselves a little box, all right? So we're going to just make ourselves a little box here, as you guys can see. Just look at my weapon there, all right? But we're going to just look at where my gun is pointed, okay? You're going to see that it's kind of in the box, a little bit in the right bottom corner. If we go back to the settings, just to quickly show you guys this, and we set it to like narrow or something, now the gun is a lot closer to my body. It's a lot more into this corner than it was before. So if you guys want to see a little bit more of your screen, keep that in mind. I just prefer playing on wide, in my opinion. It does take up a little bit more of the screen, but not much to make too much of a difference. But that's going to be it for that right there. Next off, we're going to go over to interface, and in the interface settings, there's going to be a few things you want to do. And the first one is going to be down in the gameplay HUD. You're going to look at your mini map, and you're going to set it to square, and just look at my mini map here in the bottom left. I could see all the way up here on this building, okay? I could see inside there. I could see the whole floor and all that. I could see past the pool. I could see all the way here on my map, all right? That's basically what I'm looking at on my map. If you set it to around, I mean, a lot of people know this, but I feel like just talking about it anyways. It's in the interface. What am I doing there? Just because it does make somewhat of a difference. If you set it to around, now it's really, I can't really see that much in there. I don't really see it. It's all blocked off. The corners aren't there anymore. So keep that in mind. But another thing in interface that, in my opinion, is really, really important is the center dot right here. You're going to want to make sure that you have that on for sure, and you're going to want to make sure that you have it on the largest. Now, for some reason, my game's glitched out, and even though I do have it on the largest, it shows as small. I don't know why it does that, but it is what it is. And then the crosshair color, you're going to want to set it to yellow. That's that little dot in the center of my screen right there. It's just really easy to see. So if there is an enemy like that, let's say that truck is a big enemy right there. All I got to do is point that yellow dot at him, aim down sights, and it's good to go. It's nice. People used to use tape on the screen back in the day. Now we got a yellow dot on the screen, so it's really good. It does help out a lot with accuracy. And the last thing in the interface before we move on to the next section of this video is going to be on the readability tab, and you're going to go to color customization, and you're going to make sure you got color filter 2 set on, and you're going to put the intensity all the way to the highest, because it's going to help you guys out a lot. The reds pop, the blues pop, the greens pop. Everything just pops a lot nicer. The colors are a lot more vibrant. vibrant, and it's easier to see if an enemy's running around and stuff with a lot of colors. They'll be really easy to see. Now, before I go on to the next section, gotta do a little dive. Bang. All right, that's nice. All right, moving on. Next one I said is going to be movement and all that kind of stuff. How do I do this? How am I able to run around? How do I drop shot? How am I able to jump shot while still moving and everything? Drop shot while shooting and all that kind of stuff, and aiming and all that with a basic controller. I don't have back paddles. I don't play claw. I don't do any of that, but I am able to have pretty damn good movement with a default controller. How do I do that? It's basically pretty simple. Go into your controller tab. This is for you guys who do have a controller without back paddles. If you have back paddles, you can map them to do whatever you want, but I'm playing on a controller without back paddles, so for me, it's all in the button layout. But before we go into this, you need to go to the movement tab, and you got to put your tactical sprint on, okay? Do not have this off. I think it's off by default. Turn it on, and the reason for that is because you just want to sprint the second you touch that left joystick. You don't want to walk. You don't want to do anything like that. You want to tack sprint right away, and that's because we're not going to be able to activate the sprint by pressing L3. We're going to slide with L3 instead. So if you want to sprint, you got to make sure that you got your tack sprint on, or you're going to be taking your thumb off the right stick to press circle or B or whatever it is that you're playing on. But anyways, after that, like I said, we're going to go back into the controller here. We're going to go to the button layout, and you're going to set your jump, stand, mantle to R3. So now when you press down on R3, you're not going to knife anymore. You're going to jump, stand, and mantle. And then you want to change your stance, slide, and dive with L3 so that you could drop shots instead of sprint doing this. This way you could keep your thumbs on your joysticks at all time. If you got your tack sprint set to on, you'll be able to move at the same time as well. You don't have to worry, and it's pretty nice and simple. Firing weapon and aiming down sights, I always leave it to R1 and L1. For me, it's just comfortable. The buttons are a lot smaller, so it's a lot easier to press, or a lot faster to press, and all that kind of stuff. So it just works out better. And then R2 and L2 obviously is for my equipment and my lethals and stuff. But because of this, I'm able to slide, I'm able to drop shot while aiming, I'm able to jump shot while aiming as well, and all that kind of stuff. And I can move my accuracy the whole time while doing it. Make sure you guys do that as well. It'll make you pretty quick. And tack sprint set to on is going to make you really fast as well. See, you're going to be pretty much unstoppable, man. Do it. Now, you want the best accuracy possible. How do you do that? Well, besides practicing and aiming a lot, there is some things you could change in your controller settings to make your accuracy better as well. And first off, we're going to go into the controller settings, and we're going to talk about stick sensitivity. All right, guys? I'm not going to tell you what to do here. A lot of people always ask me, what's your sensitivity? This is it. I play on a 1.60 horizontal and a 1.65 vertical. This is basically it. If this is too fast for you, don't play on this. Put it lower. If it's too slow for you, put it higher. I can't tell you guys what to do, but what I will say is that if I were to put this all the way up to a 4.0, it's really, really fast. So if I'm trying to like turn on someone or something, I'm going to over adjust. Let's pretend this umbrella is an enemy and stuff, and I'm facing this way. He starts shooting at me. It's going to take me a while to actually just aim down sights and hit him there. All right. So it's going to be a little tough, but if you actually go into those settings and you put it too low and you go all the way down to the minimum that you could actually set it to, that again is a little too slow in my opinion. If he starts shooting at me, look at this. What is this? How on earth is this a fast sensitivity? I would have died 14 times already, all right? Don't play really low either. That's why I play on a 1.60 and a 1.65, but that's just really drastic reasons not to. But I want to go really high for a second. I want to show you guys something, and this is something that I feel like I need to show you guys because some people don't understand. I'm not going to be playing at the sensitivity, but it's perfect for this example, all right? So look at this right here. If I go into my controller settings, and I go into the aiming tab, and then I open the advanced aiming settings, and I set it to instant. And then actually, you know, I'm going to make it really drastic just to show you guys this, all right? Just to make it like really, really obvious what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to set it to instant, and then we're going to put our custom sensitivity down to the lowest. Instead of 0.85, we're going to put it to 0.10, all right? So that when I'm aiming down sights, it's nice and slow. If this is my sensitivity, and let's say I'm turning and there's an enemy up there or whatever, all right? Once I aim down sights, the second I press that button to aim down sights, it's going to be really, really slow, okay? So it's going to be like really, really tight. So if I'm aiming down sights while trying to actually aim at the target, it's not good. What I'm going to recommend you guys do, and play on normal sensitivities, obviously don't do what I'm doing, but you're going to set it from instant to gradual. And the reason why you want to do this is because let's say you are moving fast. Well, now the second I ADS, it's gradually going into it. So I could go here, so begin my ADS, and it's still going to actually be a fast sensitivity until I actually aim at that window. This is actually really hard to do on a 4 sensitivity. I don't know how you guys play on this. I can't do it. But anyways, as I'm aiming down sights, my sensitivity is still fast, and it gradually slows down. So it's a lot easier to control and stuff. Playing on a 4 and then the lowest is not going to be easy, obviously, but you know what, I better change that before I forget. So we're going to go into that. We're going to put it back down to a 1.60 because wow, that is, I don't know how you guys do it. If you're cracked out with that, good stuff. I can't do it myself. Aiming advanced settings, gradual, obviously. And then what I'm going to recommend also in here is your custom sensitivity per zoom. I personally just play at a 0.85 for low zoom all the way up to a 3.0, and then after that I just play on a 1.0, so it's pretty good right there. But that's basically what I do. And the last thing I'm going to mention, or two last things I'm going to mention for aiming, is to turn off your controller vibration and your haptics. All right, and we're going to go into dead zone in a sec, but turn these off, man. You do not want these on. If your controller's vibrating and you got your full haptics set on and stuff, it's not good. Your thumb is going to be moving with the vibration. It's going to feel awkward. It's going to feel weird. It's not nice. And then your haptics, you're going to have feedback while trying to shoot. It's going to, those triggers are going to feel tight and stuff. So don't do that. All right, guys, it's going to mess up your accuracy a lot without you realizing. Now, dead zone inputs. This is the last thing I want to talk about. Left stick minimum, if you could go down to 0, go down to 0. If you have to stay up at 6 like I do because of stick drift, stay at 6. It is what it is. Left stick max, I play at 35. I feel like it just helps me with movement. It helps me be quick and stuff. So I do that. And then right stick minimum, do not go lower than 5. Once you go lower than 5, any little movement you do, even if you don't mean to do it, even if it's a millimeter, you're going to fight against aim assist in the game. If you put it to 5, any of those millimeter movements that you do, they won't even activate whatsoever because they won't actually trigger because the dead zone is too high. So that's why I recommend there all the way up until 15. If you do twitch a little more and stuff, 15 isn't going to be what you want to play on. I'm going to keep mine at a 6, and then the right stick maximum, set it all the way up to 100. And trust me, guys, your accuracy is going to be really nice. Your movement's going to be nice, and you're going to see enemies really, really easily as well. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if those notifications turned on, and let me know down in the comments below, do you guys play on a default controller or do you got back paddles? Let me know. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Nick, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.